How do you respond to a false cease and desist letter? This was a comment on a cease and desist video that I put out explaining how cease and desist letters work. And we'll put a link in the description below for that later. But the comment was saying essentially, if somebody sends you a cease and desist letter and either the action they complain about is not illegal or you didn't do it, how do you handle that? The general best practice is to respond and explain exactly that. So you explain, I either didn't do the activity that you're saying I did, or that activity isn't illegal. Now you could just not respond and see if they actually do something about it. Typically the next step in escalating from a cease and desist letter is a lawsuit. So you might get sued. Sometimes you realize, you know what, they're not actually going to sue. It's just not going to make sense. Like say, for example, your dog made a mess on the neighbor's lawn and they had to clean it up. And they send you a cease and desist letter. You might just say, you know what, they're not going to sue over this particular incident. As long as it doesn't keep happening, we're likely to be fine. I'm not going to respond to the cease and desist letter. I'm not going to spend the money on legal fees for that, because the likelihood of a neighbor spending money on a lawsuit about a dog mess in the yard is not likely. But in many cases, I recommend clients respond to the cease and desist letter so that it doesn't force the other side to escalate. So let's say, for example, a business owner sends a cease and desist letter to an ex-employee who's violating a non-compete agreement. So the employee signed an agreement that says, I won't compete, and then the employee left and competes. If the business sends a cease and desist letter and the employee just ignores it, there's a good chance that business will commence a lawsuit there. So it's that sort of case where it makes sense for the employee to hire an attorney and either respond and say, I'm not violating the law, or say, hey, how can we work this out? And I've worked in both of those scenarios before, and often you can work something out. It might take paying some money, but I had one situation where the employee paid $50,000 to get out of the non-compete agreement, and that was a better scenario for both parties because the business didn't want to have to spend over $100,000 in a lawsuit, and the employee didn't want to spend a lot of money in legal fees either. So they were able to work out an agreement where the business got some money and the employee was able to compete. All right, well, thank you for joining me here today. If you would like more information on me, you can find it at aaronhall.com. If you would like to follow us on other platforms, just search for Aaron Hall Attorney on the various other social media platforms. And if you have other questions, feel free to add them in the comments below. It was great talking with you today. I hope this was helpful, and let's stay in touch. You can sign up at aaronhall.com/free if you would like to receive those exclusive training videos for people who are trying to avoid common problems in small businesses. Have a great day.